Hi everybody, welcome to week 32. How are you doing this week? Well, hopefully you're benefiting from the slight changes in the weather. It was really wet early in the week, but it's gorgeous today. It's about 18 degrees down here and nice mild breeze from the south. So feels like autumn's still here, and it's a good day really to get into the garden and do some of those jobs for now that we will benefit from later in the year and next year. So we're going to do some bulb planting, and I'll show you what I've learned from watching Monty, reading a few books, and also I'll just wander around the garden and show you how things are doing at the moment. A couple of things this week that popped up into my inbox. One was an article in FE News about whether gardening should become part of the national curriculum. Interesting debate. I'm sure it won't, but I'll pop a few links in the blog so you can see where the debate's going with that one there. And also, thanks to Catherine Livermore for sending me a link. I was part of the audience early in the week on Gardeners Question Time on Radio 4. So that was good fun to listen in and see what happens behind the scenes. I listened to the experts like Bob Flowerdew tell us what to do in our garden. So I'll also send a link to that in the blog as well. But for now, here's me doing a little bit of bulb planting. Hi everybody, well as promised, here's some bulb planting and a bit of a bulb lasagna. First things first, get your pot and make sure you've got a source underneath it all to stop the soil from running out, but that should capture some of the water. So first things first, like last time, some broken crockery at the bottom. Just helps to keep the soil in and make sure it doesn't run away. Next we're going to fill it with a mixture of compost and horticultural grit. Monty says 3-to-1 compost to grit, so I'm going to tip some of this in, make a nice mess of the table. Keep going and keep going. And what we're going to be, first set of bulbs need to be about 12 centimetres deep, so if I go down with my Pearson TQ ruler, I'm at the right point I think there, because we'll push those down. Right, a handful of grit, or two, in it goes. This grit has been almost impossible to source. It's been really hard to get this from any garden centre, so if you find it, buy it. It's really expensive online and it's not delivered very much, so look out for that. If you see it, buy it. If you haven't got any, don't worry, just use compost, but this means there's more space for the bulbs to grow into. So we've got our layer now, and we've selected some bulbs. So we've got some tulips to go at the bottom, tulip Appledorn. These are from B&Q, so nowhere special. And Appledorn's a lovely place in Holland if you ever get a chance to go there. It's a beautiful part of the world. So put some of those in there. We've got some dwarf daffodils, and we've got some muscari. Where are they now? The muscari are here. So muscari peppermint. In this one here for now, and we're going to take them out. Tulips first. What did Monty say? Pointy bit standing up. So we've got 5 of these. Here we go. 1. Pointy bit facing up. 2. 3. 4. 5. So move that across there. So nicely spaced, bit of space in between each of them. And now we're going to put another layer, compost on top. Now obviously what Monty would do is pre-mix his compost and his grit, but I haven't got that luxury. I'm trying to show you what I'm doing today. So a layer of this together over the top of those bulbs. And now we're going to put the daffodils in. Same rules apply. Point a bit up, and I know roughly where the other ones were, so in the gaps. All this up together, careful. 2, 3, 4, 5. And I always try and do it in odd numbers if I can, sticking to the rules and advice of Michel Roux Jr., the chef, that odd numbers are better than even. A little bit more compost and grit. Again, we're creating this lasagna of different bulbs, and they come at different times, so we get different results, different shows throughout the spring. Finally, muscari. So again, pointy ends sticking up, and we're going to put those nearer the middle. 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm going to get one more out to make it an odd number. 5. Now, come over again, all the way to the top or near the top. Another handful of grit. Pretty happy with that. Have a layer of grit at the top. This is for a number of reasons. Firstly, if it rains, you don't get the compost washing away. Number 2, it stops pests thinking about coming in. Number 3, it looks quite nice. So now I'm going to carry this over to the house, put it in a sheltered spot where it doesn't get too wet. It doesn't need to be indoors though. And come February, March and April, we should get some different colours coming through, and we'll come back to that next year if we're still doing these. So thanks for watching this little segment. Bye for now. And here we've got all, 4 of our pots now potted up with bulbs in them. We put them underneath the awning in the front garden, so there's no rain can get to them. That's what they want. They want a good watering in, and then leave them alone. And fingers crossed, we'll get some daffs in February, March, some tulips in March, April, some ascari in April, May. That'll be lovely. And we're going to do one of these pots, if not 2, every morning, so we don't go for a run. So it's a nice start to the day. But bye for now. Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that. Obviously, there are things I've forgotten there, and things that you don't do live that you realise you should have said. So I'm going to pop you around the garden, have a quick last look, and then remind yourself and myself of what else we should do. So first things first is to write down what you've put in where. So pot 1, tulip, daff, ascari. Same for pot 2, but I need to put the different varieties in there. So I'll do that in a minute. Need to put a little stick in each of the pots so we know which one's pot 1, pot 2, and then we need to water them. So I'll do the watering as we pop down the other end of the garden. This also leads me on to something else to sort of think about this time of the year, which is that point I made a while ago about knowing what's in your garden. This is the thing we drew right at the start, I think episode 1 or 2. And this is what I've just done in the last week or so, which is just as we've started to bring new things in, or as we've put the bulbs down, making sure I know what's where. So this is a bit messy at the moment, but it will turn into something like this, hopefully. And we'll sort of develop and design this over the winter and see what is going to be our sort of thing, I suppose. Also up here, just a reminder that daffodil bulbs are super cheap. So if you're near a Tesco's or a Sainsbury's or a Co-op or an Asda, you have a sort of box of these or a bag of these, 50 odd in there, that you can pop in anywhere in the garden, either in a pot like we've done, or in the garden, which I'll show you, or it's in the border. So at the back here, the coriander is starting to show true leaves. You can see here, it looks like coriander to me. So we're doing really well with that, and we're going to keep that going. And fingers crossed, if the snails don't do what they've done to the pak choi, we should have some coriander to celebrate. Over the back here, we've got, looking good, the spinach. The rocket's looking great, and not far away now before we start to enjoy that. And the pak choi that I moved over here is a lot happier. It's harder for the snails and slugs to get into these plastic ones than it is to some of the wooden ones. And so something to think about for yourself is that how best can you do that? That's my idea, at least anyway. Put them in these longer and more plasticky things. So moving around the garden, a lot of moisture in here with the mulberries. They really have taken a pounding, but they're okay. I actually don't mind that at all. Down the side here, rosemary's looking fantastic, as it has done all year round really. For the amaranthus, I'm going to start doing soon. If I show into my hand here, if I give this a little rub, you'll see in my hand some little seeds. Now if I blow, we'll lose some of the fluff and keep the little black seeds. Now you can use those for cooking, but also see they self-seed and they'll be in the garden next year. So I'm going to packet some of those up and make sure that I've got some for next year. If anybody on the call would like some of these seeds, let me know, because I did think of an idea about doing a seed swap, which would be very difficult. over the airwaves, but if we can, and if someone wants some of these amaranthus, let me know, because I'll probably pop some of these in the post to you. And down here we've got all the things growing nicely. It just seems to have had a little bit of a rebirth with the good weather. This is the plot where we put in loads of bulbs. It's a bit of a mess at the moment. I put some grass seed on top of it, but they should look fantastic in the spring. And when we come back here in March, you should see loads of things popping through the floor there and making it look fantastic. On the other side, you can see here, this is the mess you make when you do it into the garden. So it doesn't look very pretty what we've put in here, but to be honest, this time of the year the garden doesn't look great anyway. It's very muddy and very trampled, so we think this is the right thing to be doing here. And then wandering down, we brought the lemon and the other plants out, the chilli, out for a little bit of fresh air and just blow away some of the cobwebs. But that will be back inside soon, and they'll be dormant for the winter. Here are our pots, so need to remember to water these well, and they'll do really well. Still happening in the shed, on the greenhouse. Still lots of chilies growing and coming through, so plenty for our food. And the sweet pea we planted last week haven't come through yet, and they shouldn't do really, but I'll keep an eye on those as we go through. So that's it for this week. Stay well and join me back here next week for maybe our last one, maybe the penultimate one. We'll have to wait and see. Anyway, bye for now.